You may now begin your presentation.
Aachen, a city with history.
Well known for its sport events.
City of culture.
A city of technological progress and improvement.
But there's more. A group of students dedicated to making the world a better place. A team represented by the 5 of us today. My name is Daniel.
I'm Jan.
My name is Benedict.
I'm Marcus. And this is Tuan.
Together, we are 50 students, acting as one team. Enactus Aachen.
At the moment, we have 7 running projects. 2 of them we will present to you today, 1 regional and 1 international.
The first project we want to give you an insight into is IT for Kids, a project about empowering students to become tutors and teach children IT knowledge.
IT teaches you how to think. Not only visionary minds like Steve Jobs see its importance, but also the majority of teachers, parents and children have noticed the urgency of an educational update and would like to have IT classes as an integral part of school. But the ugly truth is, only 10% of schools in Germany actually offer IT classes, as for example, the Victoria School in Aachen.
Ich bin vor allen Dingen sehr interessiert, Schüler vorher schon mal in Verbindung zu bringen mit Informatik, weil ich feststelle, die meisten wissen gar nicht so richtig, soll ich jetzt Informatik wählen oder nicht, weil sie keine Vorstellungen haben davon.
Also gibt es von Seiten der Schule zu wenig Ressourcen, um solche AGs anzubieten?
Das ist definitiv so.
So, why don't we change our education system in Germany? Obviously, the solution can't come from the schools, and this meant we needed to find another way.
And this is exactly what we did. We developed an online platform which provides IT classes for every interested school. We saw the demand and found the supply, connecting children on the one hand with students on the other. Students who are looking for an additional income and want to work with children. This is Lars, an electrical engineering student. He's eager to teach children IT knowledge, thereby improve his soft skills, and he's also looking for an opportunity to earn some extra money. But first, let's hear what Lars has to say.
Da ich schon immer ganz gerne mit Kindern arbeite, dachte ich, wäre eine super Idee, das auch jetzt mal wirklich regelmäßig so zu machen. Und ich denke, dass es auch ganz wichtig ist, die Kinder früh an sowas heranzuführen. Bei mir persönlich hat das damals ein bisschen gefehlt und ein bisschen Geld nebenbei verdienen schadet auch nicht.
As you can see, Lars is ambitious to teach children IT knowledge. But what does our concept look like and how does it empower Lars? Well, our platform combines 3 major services: our own online software, an open source guidebook containing all lesson modules, and the matching process between schools and students. All 3 things combined lead to a sustainable way to empower students to teach children IT knowledge, thereby hone their soft skills, while also learning a little money on the side.
Let's have a closer look at the software we're using in our classes. The program's interface is split into 3 main parts. On the left side is the action field where the program will run. The middle area is the toolbox containing all the command blocks. The white workspace on the right is where we actually build up our program. The code is made by moving the command blocks from the middle area to the workspace on the right. The next part of our concept is the guidebook. The guidebook contains all lesson modules of different skill levels, from beginner to expert. Out of these lesson modules, the tutor can create his own curriculum. Additionally, it will expand with time due to its open source character. The last part of our concept is the matching process between schools and tutors. Both interested schools and students can register online and get matched by our system. In order to guarantee a high level of education quality, we established a four-step selection process. First, the student has to register online and answer several questions. Second, the candidate gets invited to a personal interview and has to prove his qualification. After the candidate passes our selection process, the next step is the personal meeting with the school to start the cooperation. The last step is the evaluation after each class. Only tutors with a positive feedback get the opportunity to teach further classes. Equipped with our guidebook and the software, the tutors are able to give the classes. But who's going to pay them?
Well, our finance plan is quite easy. We contacted companies and social associations in the region and explained our concept to them. They were thrilled by our project and were eager to support us. So we established a fund, which is financed by the participating investors. The students get the money out of the fund and become freelance tutors. But why should any company support our project? Well, first, they get in touch with the teaching students. Secondly, they become visible for potential customers and future employees. And thirdly, participating in our social project improves their corporate image. But most importantly, our students also gain several benefits. Earning 10 euros per hour leads to an annual income of 360 euros. Furthermore, by teaching our children, they can improve their soft skills and they get in touch with the committed companies.
This was the concept, but we proved IT for Kids works. Over the last 6 months, we empowered 13 students to become freelance tutors, teaching more than 100 lessons to 130 children. At the moment, we are about to close contract with 2 companies to join the sponsorship. Additionally, we already convinced 6 schools' friends associations to finance further classes. Thereby, we expanded our fund volume to 1,600 euro for next year classes.
With our open source platform, we created a starting point for an interactive online community of interested children and students. On the map, you can see all classes held in the last 6 months. Due to our teacher-teacher concept, we ensure the sustainability of the existing classes. But this is just the beginning. The feedback we receive is overwhelmingly positive, rising the number to 20 participating schools in the area of Aachen for the next term. And since our concept isn't restricted by any borders, we plan to enlarge IT for Kids throughout Germany, using several networks, the TU9 universities, the national school councils, and most importantly, we want to use the huge potential we have with our Enactus network. And that is why we want to end this part of the presentation with an appeal to all of you, whether you're a student, parent, or an interested investor, join us to teach children how to think IT.
The second project we would like to present to you today is called Samaki. When we first initiated this project, Enactus was still focused on people in need. And truly, the people we target are in need of help, in need of hope, in need of change. Our project is in Tanzania, which as a whole faces multiple problems. A low rate of electrification, with only 20% of the population with access to the power grid. Malnutrition on a scale of 20.6 on the World Hunger Index, whereby 5 already represents serious hunger of the population. A low average income of only just $540 a year. And an appallingly low quality of public education, with a shortage of over 85,000 teachers throughout the country. All this leads to a weak and feeble economy, which in turn leads to a high rate of unemployment, stagnation, and a perceived lack of perspective for the people stuck in poverty. So, what can be done about this, we asked ourselves. Well, to escape poverty, people need jobs. And if the economy isn't good enough to provide these jobs, well, then people have to take things into their own hands. They have to become entrepreneurs, just as it is Enactus' goal. With this in mind, we began our search for an entrepreneurial spirit that, if only given the chance, would turn her life around for the better.
Our search for an entrepreneurial spirit led us all the way to Kava, a place exemplary for Tanzania. The situation is as harsh as in most rural areas. Low income, dominated by low-quality housing areas, and a grasping desperation within the people. In the heart of Kava lives Ramensiana. Her life is a hard one. She works as a cleaning lady, only to barely get by, while also acting as a guardian for several children at the same time. As you can see, her living conditions are poor, to say the very least. But as we know, Ramensiana is ambitious. She had played with ideas to generate an extra income, and her approach was to cultivate fish in her home. So she initiated a fish farm by raising fish in a big water-filled plastic container. However, her fish perished due to an insufficient oxygen level and chemical toxins from their own excrements in the water. So her first attempt had failed. The concept of a micro-business in the form of fish farm sparked our interest nonetheless. The potential in Tanzania is especially high, as jobs would be created, malnutrition could be fought, and especially the traditional fish market in Tanzania is struggling due to an overfishing of the regional waters. So we decided this is it. This is our new project. We are going to make it possible for people in Tanzania to open up a business by breeding and selling fish in areas that don't even have access to electricity and running water. As a prototype to test whether it would be possible, we started our project with the person who had first attempted it, Ramenziana.
To tackle this project, we needed to find solutions to the problems that Ramenziana had faced during her first attempt. We came up with a solution in the form of a recirculating aquaculture system, which can be constructed on location and also runs on solar electricity. To enable a fully sustainable business, we rounded off our concept with a workshop and a handbook containing necessary information about fish farming and solar power. So, first things first. To enable this fish farm, we needed a system that could clean and circulate the water. We compiled and then assembled just such a system, adding a small electric pump. To generate the electricity necessary for this pump, we also included a multifunctional solar module. This made Ramenziana completely independent from any kind of external electricity supply. Now, the generated electricity powers the pump. This transfers the water out of our freshwater reservoir, up and into the fish tank. This in turn raises the water level, leading to used water overflowing into the biofilter. Now, our biofilter can be assembled using cheap and locally accessible materials. It consists only of one layer of coal, followed by a layer of sand and an old mosquito net. That's it. Afterwards, the now clean water flows back into our freshwater reservoir. Thereby, we clean our system and raise the oxygen level due to the bubbling water supply. Any excrements left on the tank floor can be released through a crane at the bottom of our system. And that is what we call technical progress.
As it is the DNA of Enactus, we do not only want to implement a working system, we want to ensure that our project is sustainable. Therefore, we developed a workshop about solar electricity, fish farming and business in order to transfer this knowledge to our small business owners to guarantee that our project would blossom in the long run. For instance, we explained the right amount of feed for the fish and how to tend to the solar module. And that is how we ensure sustainability. Our fish farm now has several benefits. As opposed to our first try, the fish farm now has a biofilter and an oxygen supply. It's small in size and can be applied even in very tight quarters. It's independent from running water. And lastly, the battery included in the solar solution provides a backup system in case of low sunlight for extended periods of time. And that is what we call improvement. With our fish farm, Ramenziana can raise around 360 fish per year, which can be sold on a local market and generate a total turnover of around $280, an extra 50% of an average total year salary. And she can comfortably run her fish farm without having to give up her current job. Now that we have proven that our fish farm works even as a micro business under the unlikeliest of circumstances, what will the future bring for our project?
Anachimba tu, naweka maji yana.
Exactly. Ja, sie kommt aus Moshi und Kilimanjaro, da hat es halt viel Wasser. Und sie haben da auch eine Schamba, sie haben da eine Farm und so. Und er hat die Idee, da auch mal Fische zu züchten. Ja, machen wir.
So, let's do it. We are eager to bring our concept to the next level and plan on doing so in all possible ways. Together with our local partner, we can expand throughout Tanzania to multiple locations, such as those, for example, that Ramenziana just mentioned, as the demand is clearly there. But not only can more systems be distributed, there's also clearly a potential for larger systems. Even though Ramenziana's fish farm creates half a year's income, it is, after all, still relatively small. Far, far larger systems can be realized without having to change the concept and, in turn, can generate more than enough extra income to raise a willing entrepreneur out of poverty with his or her own business. And that is our goal. Just as we have helped Ramenziana build a better life for herself and her children, we want to spread our concept throughout the country to help as many people as possible to become entrepreneurs and create a better future for themselves.
Today we presented you with two of our projects, IT for Kids and Samaki.
In IT for Kids, we addressed several livelihood assets and thereby empowered Lars and 12 other students to become freelance tutors. With our platform, we created a massive online community to teach children IT.
In Samaki, we help impoverished people in Tanzania by teaching them how to farm fish. Thereby, we empower them to become small business owners, create extra income, and turn their life around for the better, just like Ramenziana.
But we have done more. In UVU, we taught unemployed immigrants to build furniture out of wooden pallets.
In Energize, we empower Tanzanian people to become entrepreneurs and build their own business with the help of solar energy.
In Social Soap, we teach disabled people how to recycle leftover waste of hotel soap.
In Snackbox, we empower the former drug addict Rainer to open up his own mobile snack bar.
In our project Chatro Fuel, we empower local farmers in Tanzania, in Mozambique, to cultivate biofuel plants.
With our entrepreneurial spirit, we improve the lives of those who are in need, not only in Aachen, but all over the world.
50 entrepreneurial minds, acting as one team. We are Enactus Aachen.
We will now begin. Sorry for interrupting. We will now begin the question and answer period. Only judges may ask questions, please.
Thank you for two very fantastic ideas showing us today. But could you please go a bit more into depth in what parts of this project were your own ideas and your own commitments, and what other parts were perhaps conducted by partners, by your people in need, or by other organizations you worked with?
Okay, so I will start with IT for Kids. The software we use is was an existing one from the MIT, but we developed it further and added some additional features, like you can modify the teaching lessons and all this stuff. So we modified that one. Everything around the project, so everything else, is by us. So that's the only part from others. Well, besides of the finance plan, the financing, the money.
In Samaki, well, first of all, the idea, of course, as we showed, came from Ramenziana, at least the simple idea to cultivate fish. However, the system, we came up with that. We knew of cultivating fish in similar systems. We did research on that and adapted it so that it would fit into the local conditions. And on location, we have a partner there. This project grew out of our other project, Energized, which means we have a local partner in Tanzania. It's a company called SolarGrid. They sell solar modules, so we have a network there that we build on. And especially one person there, a Swiss social worker, he's very interested in this idea. So he's the one who keeps contact with our people, or our clients in this case, that are in Tanzania, which we, of course, can't reach all the time. So that part we had to outsource to our local partner.
Thank you very much for your great presentation. I have one question to the project IT for Kids. In your needs assessment, you mentioned that one of the key problems is that only 10% of the schools provide IT education, which I believe is mainly due to the fact that the infrastructure is not there. So how does your project support that the portion of schools can increase that level?
Yeah, thank you for this question. I think the infrastructure is there. A lot of schools we visited, they already have like a computer room and the IT software, but they don't know how to use it. Usually they just use it for like how to learn the CV or how to use PowerPoint, but that's not what we want to face with our project. There's more. Like you can tackle this IT knowledge and this, like what Steve Jobs said, it's not about like just learning the IT, it just teaches you how to think. It teaches you how to think structural, and that's what we want to give to these children.
Thank you for that great presentation. I have a question regarding your project Zamaki. What is the business model behind your rollout idea?
Yeah, you mean our market exit strategy?
No, you told that you want to spread out the project Zamaki all over Tanzania, and so could you please elaborate a bit on that, like in numbers, what are the costs for a system, and how do you going to finance that?
Of course. Well then, first of all, to the cost. If you have the solar module, it costs around about $110, depending on which brand you buy, although they are locally accessible, different ones, either from Germany, from China, you can buy them in the capital in Tanzania. So that's $110. The complete system costs about $240. That's including the tank, the filter, all of that, the pump. The tank, for instance, Ramenziana already had, so that lowered her initial costs. But that's what you're looking at, that price range. Of course, that's a lot of money for people in Tanzania, so they don't pay everything up front. They do pay a certain amount of money, a lump sum, up front in cash, which Ramenziana, for instance, did. But our financing structure works a bit differently in Tanzania because banking doesn't work that well there. They have a system which is quite interesting. It's based on mobile phones, and you have microtransactions, and you can do this through mobile phones. And people get their wages onto phones as well, things like this. So that's how our people pay back the systems. So they're not presents, they're not giveaways. Ramenziana has already fully financed hers back through these microtransactions. And that's something that we work in close contact with our local partner, because they have the structure there, they have the people there, and they can see whether or not people are paying, ask questions, why aren't you paying, why didn't you do this? So yeah, that's how we finance our entire model. And as far as the spreading throughout the country goes, we'd like to build on the network that our local partner has, Solar Grid, because they really do, they are spread out widely throughout the country. And then we hope that from then on, as soon as one of these modules, one of these systems comes into different villages, that they can spread by the word of mouth.
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in thanking Uni Aachen for their great work and their presentation.